I'm Ellen May N. Urbanis, and I'm the last presenter of Group 6. So, my report highlights the need for a dynamic and responsive educational curriculum, and it also underscored the ongoing requirement for innovation in teaching practices to adapt to both current and future challenges in education. So, my report is the continuation of Miss Tampipe. So, I'm in the part B where the curriculum considerations. We all know that the COVID 19 pandemic indeed caused a major chaos in every element of human life after its proclamation by the World Health Organization or WHO in March 2020. So, the impact or the um, the effect of this pandemic affecting individuals, communities, and all the nations worldwide. So, with millions of lives lost and the countless others affected physically, not only physically, also emotionally and economically, indeed, the pandemic has left a lasting impact on human history. Important aspect that is affected by the pandemic is our education. So, as a fundamental human right, education must persist or dapat yun mapadayon even in the face of such pandemic or challenges that we have. So, um, traditional modes of curriculum delivery have been severely challenged by the limitation imposed by the pandemic. So, di ba, kailangan na to magpuyo lang sa balay or kung makagawas man ta dapat 1 meter social distancing, keep distance, ganun. Kailangan mag-wear ng face mask, ng face shield, so mga ganun. So in response to that, in that pandemic, educators and teachers are compelled to rethink and adapt their approaches para ma-ensure nga ang ato ang learning is nagapadayon. So, next. Based on the initial scientific studies, COVID-19 is a rare disease which is caused by a newly discovered coronavirus, namely as SARS-CoV-2. So, in response for this virus, the World Health Organization or WHO and the various health authorities worldwide implemented a series of guidelines that aimed at controlling the outbreak and minimizing the transmission. So these guidelines were based on the nature of the virus and its transmission mechanisms. So primarily through respiratory droplets and to a lesser extent contact with contaminated surfaces. So here are the fundamental guidelines. First is to wash hands frequently with soap and water and avoid touching the face with unwashed hands. So, frequent hand washing with soap and water kills the virus, so effectively reducing the risk of infection. That's why hand washing is considered as one of the most effective prevention strategy, and as it directly disrupts the transmission from surfaces to the body, to the body's entry points. So the virus can survive on surfaces for varying durations, making it possible to contract the virus by touching a contaminated surface and then touching the face, not just the face, also your eyes, nose, or mouth. So that's why hand washing with soap can kill the virus. Next is wearing a face mask. So this will provide personal protection that no droplets due to coughing or talking of a transmitter will be passed onto another person. So for this, it's obvious that the mask act as a physical barrier para ma-reduce ang pag-inhale nato sa mga respiratory droplets that expelled by infected individuals. So this primarily or which is a primary mode of transmission ang mga droplets. So this mask also help contain any droplets from an infected person, significantly reducing the risk of transmission to others. So this guideline became especially important in crowded settings and areas where social distancing could not be strictly maintained. So bisan ganig mugawas ta ato, diba, sa atong balay kailangan mag face mask ato So dili ta dali-dali nga makagawas og balay nga dili mag face mask kay kuan gyud siya kanang kailangan gyud siya ato. So third, we have here keep distance or the social distancing. So maintaining a distance of at least 1 meter, o diba, about 3 feet. So 1 meter from others, naga-minimize po siya sa risk of inhaling droplets kay layo naman kaayo ang usa ka tao. So namang uban ato nga gipang ubo, di ba? Kinsa gipang ubo atos, di ba? So it minimize the risk of inhaling droplets from a person who coughs, his sneezes, or bisan pa man sa istorya. So this distance is based on the typical range that the respiratory droplets can travel before settling on surfaces. Social distancing ay usara na siya sa strategy para makontrol na to ang spread sa virus at that time. So especially in the absence sa widespread vaccination in the early stages of the pandemic. So fourth is practice health etiquette. So this involves covering the mouth and nose with a bent elbow or tissue when coughing or sneezing, and then disposing of the tissue immediately. So such a respiratory etiquette prevents the dispersion of droplets that could contain the virus, thereby controlling its spread. So next we have here fifth, doing the exercise. So regular physical activity enhances the overall immune system. Kailangan jud ato nga time himsog ta, dapat dili ta magkasipon magkaubo kay ang uban ato nga nangalisang na kay bisan giubo lang gani ka dira kay napasingulanan ana, di ba? Kuan na maingon na tag COVID, di ba? So helping the body to fight off infection including viral ones. That's why it's important to do exercise or regular physical activity kay gina-enhance man jud niya ang atoang immune system. So exercise also supports not only our physical but also our mental health, that reduces our stress and anxiety associated with prolonged periods of isolation or uncertainty during that lockdowns. Okay? So next is eating a healthy food to build the immune system. So that time kailangan nato og nutritious diet para mag-support sa atong immune function. 'Di ba? Dili lang exercise ang atong kinahanglan para ma-improve ang atong immune system. Kailangan pud nato og nutritious diet. So unsa man atong mga kailangan nga food? So we need foods rich in vitamins such as C and D para ang atong immune system kay healthy, para lagsik ta. So kailangan po natog minerals, antioxidants na naga-maintain sa ato ang robust immune system. So in the context of COVID-19, ang strong or ang healthy immune system or strong immune system dili kailangan nga dili siya ingon nga maka-prevent infection, but it can mitigate the severity of the illness and improve recovery outcomes. Kay dili siya ingon nga para maiwasan nato dili siya ingon nga para maiwasan jud nato ang infection. Siguro magka-infection ta pero ang atong lawas dali ra maka-recover ana nga infection kay tungod ang atong immune system is well functioned. So this guideline is a preventive measures recommended by WHO were designed to collectively reduce the risk of infection and para ma-slow ang spread sa virus that protects the individuals and the communities, particularly those most vulnerable to severe outcomes from the virus. So each measure, while effective on its own, works best when combined with others, providing a multi-layered approach to fighting the pandemic. So the COVID-19 pandemic changed how we do school. So with all the safety rules or guidelines that implemented by the WHO, it's hard for everyone to be in a classroom together. So instead of everyone going to school, a lot of learning happens online now. So this new way of learning called Education 4.0 means you can learn from home at any time and using computers or tablets. So, 'di ba mao na atong gihimo atong na asynchronous and synchronous learning, 'di ba? Mao nang nabotsyag na siya nga learning. So, sa ato ang mga college mao to asynchronous and synchronous learning, pero syempre sa mga elementary pud ato nga time, ilaha lang ato modules, mura ginahatdan lang sila modules or ilang parents lang ang mag-claim sa modules sa eskwelahan. So education 4.0 is all about using technology to help you learn better. So mauna ang ato ang gi-adapt nga learning that time of pandemic. So that's sa ato we joined online classes or using apps and websites to study, 'di ba? It's like bringing the classroom to your phone or computer. So 'di ba ato nga time dili man ingon tanan nga naay cellphone. So mo to nga kuan not everyone has the same access to computers or the internet. So some students naga-face jud ato og mga challenges, 'di ba? Na mga naglisod ato nga maka online class because walay cellphone, nagahiram lang. So that's something we need to work on to make sure everyone has a fair chance to learn. So in a nutshell, COVID-19 changed how we learn, pushing us to use more technology for education. So it's a big change talaga, but it's also a chance to make learning more flexible and accessible for everyone. So, 'di ba? Karon kato nagkalisod pa ta ato para maka-join og klase, but look at us now na ta sa third year kay kuan man nangita man jud tag paagi, bahalag magka-late na ta ato, bahalag usahay absent na ta ato. Ang importante nakalahutay ta ato. So next for curriculum considerations is the learner and the teacher. So, college students are diverse in reference to their readiness to learn under the pandemic. So, for college students, like any group of learners are a diverse bunch. So, kita gikan ta sa lain-lain nga backgrounds that time. So, having a different learning styles and face unique challenges. So, 'di ba? Saba ko yung motor, sorry. So, when it comes to learning during the pandemic, this diversity becomes even more pronounced. So, 'di ba, some of us may thrive in remote learning environments. So, we have here self-discipline and comfortable with independent study. For them, online classes offer flexibility and convenience, allowing them to manage their schedules and study at their own pace, 'di ba? Onya, napuy uban, some students may struggle with remote learning. So they might lack reliable internet access or a suitable learning environment at home. So others may find it difficult to stay motivated without the structure and social interaction of traditional classrooms, 'di ba? Naiuban sa ato ang bisan karon, 'di ba, mag-online classes gihapon ta. Gina-prefer nato ang face-to-face classes kay lahi ra jud og naata sa kuan kay kung online mga tulog ra wala ra napoy uban sa to nindot yun kay mag face to face classes kay makapaminaw kag tarong nang ang ma-engage jud ka sa klase, dili kay magtungok lang ka tira naminaw sa online. So mauna siya ang mga kuans mga struggle nato when it comes online classes. So for this the transition to online learning can be stressful stressful and overwhelming sometimes. So that time, that pandemic time, dili lang kita students ang naga-face og mga struggles. Also, the college teachers also face a range of challenges sa pag-adapt to remote teaching. So, some educators may already be familiar with online teaching tools and techniques. It enables them to seamlessly transition to virtual classrooms. They may leverage interactive technologies, multimedia resources, and online collaboration platforms to engage students and facilitate learning effectively, di ba? Naka-encounter man jud gihapon ta og kuan, di ba, natay naagian nga instructor nga dili siya familiar sa ubang kuan, sa ubang website ana. So mao po to ang mga kuan, mga teacher nga naay limited experience with online teaching or feel less comfortable using technology sa ilahang instruction. So, they may struggle to design engaging online lessons and sa pag-assess po sa student learning effectively or provide timely feedback. So, additionally, managing virtual classrooms and addressing technical issues can add to the workload and stress for teachers. So, that time to support both students and teachers during the pandemic, colleges and universities provide resources, must provide dapat no must jud provide resources, training o support para sa remote learning. So this might include access sa technology, training workshops of online teaching or best practices, mental health resources to address the emotional toll of the pandemic. So moreover, fostering a sense of community and connection is a crucial in remote learning environment. So colleges can facilitate virtual study groups, peer mentoring programs, and online social events to help students and teachers stay connected and engage with each other. So dapat walay puhon ana. So, kung panalitan man na ay inana na pong mahitabo, dapat ready na ang mga educators puhon o ang students para di na magka-problema bisan man magka-pandemic, di ba? Continuous gyapon ang nagyapon continuity of learning. So, the readiness to learn and teach during the pandemic varies among college students and teachers. So, recognizing o ang pag-address sa diversity is important jud to ensure the equitable access of education o sa kuan and supporting sa student success DI sa remote learning environment. So third, appropriate teaching delivery during the time of pandemic and beyond. So what kind of appropriate teaching delivery must the teacher use to share knowledge to students? So during the pandemic and beyond, appropriate teaching delivery methods must adapt to the challenges of remote learning. Dapat maka-align po siya no sa ato ang mode that time. So usa na dito ang blend of synchronous and asynchronous learning mao na to ang blended learning. So incorporate both synchronous and asynchronous. So unsa man tong synchronous? Real time. Ang asynchronous self-paced. So these are the learning activities to accommodate different student schedules and preferences. So synchronous sessions can include live lectures, discussions, or Q&A sessions, while ang asynchronous activities may involve pre-recorded lectures, reading assignments, or mga online quizzes. So next slide is for no internet connectivity. So by answering what kind of appropriate teaching delivery must the teacher use to share knowledge to students for no internet connectivity. So unsa may imong himuon? So here are some ways. First is to use of printed self-learning modules. So pwede hatagan og modules ang mga bata or kanang ay hatagan sila og module pero moadto sila og eskwelahan, dapat mag-follow siya sa social distancing or ikaduha, in places with no risk of COVID-19, kung pwede ra po by schedule ang pagkuha kay aron gamay ra po mo ato sa eskwelahan. So mo na siya ang kuan og panalitan wa joy connection. Next is the limited internet connectivity. So first is the asynchronous learning. So it is a teaching delivery method where students are doing their work independently. So ang kuan jud atong sa ang asynchronous kay kuan bisag na atay gihimo bisag naglabat ato ng hugas og plato, di ba makapaminaw gihapon ta pero ang uban nangatulog. So mao to siya ang asynchronous learning na nga gina-allow niya ang students to access course materials and complete assignments sa ilahang kung asa sila pabor, rather than being tied sa ato ang fixed schedule sa live classes, di ba kailangan jud Monday to afternoon klase. So this flexibility nag-accommodate siya sa students sa ilahang diverse schedules, commitments of time zone. So it can it enable us to balance our academic pursuits o ato ang uban pang responsibilities such as our work sa balay, sa atong family o sa mga extracurricular activities nato. So next is unlimited internet connectivity sa asynchronous. We have here providing learning materials or packets. So the teacher can give printed materials or recorded tutorials nga pwede nila balikan o kanang wala yun sila connection that time nga nag-lecture ka. And second one is open educational resources or OERs will be provided. Manang open educational resources, so freely accessible siya, openly licensed educational materials nga pwede siya magamit for teaching, learning, research ug uban pa nga purposes. So these resources naga-include siya textbooks, lecture notes, videos, simulations, quizzes ug uban pa nga interactive modules nga available siya online. So next is the excellent internet connectivity. So unsa man to? The synchronous learning. So excellent internet connectivity, di ba, naga-allow sa ato to use the method of synchronous because kusog man ato ang connection. So diri na mosulod ang real-time teaching, ato ang pagsulod sa Zoom, sa Facebook Messenger, sa Google Meet, or sa Google Classroom. So, unsaon man ni siya para mag-work. So, real-time teaching and learning. So, synchronous learning naga-allow siya sa teachers o students to interact in real time. So it simulates a traditional classroom environment pero virtually. So teachers can deliver lectures, conduct demonstrations, naga-facilitate pud og mga discussions o provide og immediate feedback sa students. So next we have here instructional guide or lesson plan nga gina-prepare sa teacher. So before the synchronous session, ang teacher naga-prepare siya og usa ka lesson plan na naga-outline sa iyang objectives or tumong. Di lang kay tumong niya, syempre ang sulod pod sa iyang or plano niya o yang mga pa-activities, di ba? O timeline sa iyang session. So this instructional guide serves as a roadmap for the teaching and learning progress. Unsa man na siya? Mao ni ang guide niya kung kuan ba and the end ba sa iyang lecture na abay makatunan ang bata or estudyante. So it ensures that the session is well organized og naga-focus gyud siya sa iyang objective. So lecture or demonstration niya. So during the synchronous session, the teacher delivers the content according sa iyang instructional guide or lesson plans, primarily through lectures, demonstration, or PPT presentations. So it focuses in conveying information, concepts, and skills sa students in a structured manner. pagkahuman sa iyang lecture, pwede na siya mag Q&A. While there may be a limited interaction during the main teaching portion, synchronous learning sessions often include a Q&A segment kay diri man nimo um, mahibal-an og naa ba siya naa ba siya nakatunan ang student at the end of the lesson. So, it is where student can ask question pod to seek clarification or engage in discussion with the teacher and classmates. Lastly, we have synchronous learning, and it can also be followed by an asynchronous learning. So may pasabot ana. So it is the integration with asynchronous learning. So synchronous learning can be complemented or followed by asynchronous learning activities. So after sa imuhang live session, students may be assigned additional readings, videos, assignments, or collaborative projects para ma-reinforce ang iyahang learning o ma-extend pa iyahang understanding sa imuhang gihatag nga topic. So, unsa man ang mga benefit aning synchronous learning? So, usa na diha ang real-time interaction. So, kani dire kung synchronous learning ang students maka-engage man gyud sa iyahang maestra o sa classmates. So, pwede siya mangutana kung naaman siya kalibog, or pwede siya maka-participate sa mga discussion o maka-receive og immediate feedback ang unsa pod ang teacher kung effective ba ang iyahang pagtudlo, di ba? It promotes active learning and engagement. Second, structured learning experience. So, ang synchronous session or synchronous learning follow a predefined schedule o agenda. So, it provides a structured and cohesive learning experience para sa students. And third is the social connection. So, synchronous learning is important in a sense of community and belonging among students as they interact with each other and the teacher in real time, sharing ideas, perspectives, o mga experiences. And last one is the immediate feedback. So, mo to kung giingon ganina, teachers can assess students' understanding and to address the misconceptions or challenges promptly, ensuring nga naa ba sila nakatunan or na-meet ba niya yung objectives, no? In this excellent internet connectivity facilitates synchronous learning and enables real-time teaching and learning experiences through online platforms. So by following the lesson plan or the instructional guide of the teacher, teachers can deliver content and engage students at the same time in interactive activities and provide immediate feedback, enhancing the quality and effectiveness of the learning process. So it is the end of my report. So as we look to the future, it's clear that the digital revolution in education is here to stay. So we can create engaging, accessible, and student-centered learning experiences that empower learners to thrive in a rapidly changing world. So by harnessing, in a way, and harnessing the power of technology, mm, fostering collaboration and pag-promote of inclusive practices. So, together, let's continue to embrace the innovation, adaptability, and lifelong learning as we shape the future of education for generations to come. So, as a future educator, it is important to us to leverage and open educational resources or to embrace the synchronous learning opportunities, to embrace the innovation and flexibility to ensure the continuity in education. So thank you for listening, and that's all for my report. Thank you. Bye.